All right, hello everyone and welcome. That you've come to the Rico Theta virtual booth at South by Southwest online. Um, we're going to be talking with Subbu Mayapan today, and we're going to talk about cell phone towers, taking 360-degree images on cell phone towers. If that's the place that you intended to come to, you're in the right spot. We'll give everyone a few more minutes. It's just one past the hour, so maybe 1 or 2 more minutes to let people to come in. And so we'll go from there.
So far, it's been friends and family.
Yeah, like I said, we're here at the Rico Theta virtual booth at South by Southwest, and we're just allowing people to come in. But we'll be talking with Subbu Mayapan today from ECSite, doing 360-degree photography from cell towers. We'll be getting started in just a minute. Okay, since it's 3 minutes past, I'm Jesse Kasman from Theta360.guide. We help developers working with the Rico Theta cameras. It's a great resource. If you're not aware of it already, please come. There's all sorts of tutorials, guides, forum where you can meet other developers, work on projects, and solve problems. For today, for this presentation, it's okay to ask questions at any point by chat or by audio. We'll collect them. We can ask them at the end, but if you have a question in the middle, by all means, feel free to jump in. Please stay on mute to lessen that background noise unless you have a question. And then, yeah, if you're not as used to using Zoom, which might be a surprise after this year, but there is the chat icon at the bottom. That's a good way to ask questions as well. So with no further ado, I'll turn it over to you, Subbu, and and you can jump right in.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Jesse. Thanks for the introduction, and thanks everybody for joining. Good to see some familiar names and faces here. So appreciate all of you taking time to join today. So I'm going to share my screen, walk through some slides, but we also have turned out to be very lucky that we were able to secure a rooftop for us to go do a live demo. So Padu and Jay are on a rooftop. So we will get to that demo right after I walk us through the slides here. Right. Okay, can you, Jesse, can see my screen, right?
Yep, I can see it. It looks great.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you. So the main focus of today is to talk about 360 degrees on a cell tower. And you might wonder what the application of that is. It's actually pretty phenomenal in terms of what 360-degree pictures can do on a cell tower, right? So you'll see that. So first of all, it's about ECSite. So we are a software company located here in the Silicon Valley in California. We founded in 2014. Headquartered here in the Valley. We do a lot of RF related work and mobile apps related to RF and fiber related work. So we are an end-to-end software company, and we do highly technical data collection in the sense the app actually is RF aware, fiber aware. So as you can imagine, it has a lot to do with cell towers as well. We've done quite a few projects, and you'll see that in the next slides. So we have a cloud-based app and a mobile counterpart to it, which essentially is used to control and manage these devices in the field and also pull data and present data to all the users on the cloud. We have several patents that are pending as well on some of the deep tech that we do. So as we were in cell towers doing a lot of RF testing, one of the requirements that came is they wanted to document the activity on the cell towers. And they would used to take pictures all around, and it occurred to us that using a 360-degree camera might actually work better for that purpose. So that's when we started dabbling with the 360-degree camera and got in touch with Rico to integrate that into our app. So and there's later on we'll send out the slides to the attendees. You'll be able to see the video on an overview of what we do. So in terms of where all we are being used on in cell tower applications, or basically telecom, wireless telecom applications, there's we do in-building activity. There's Wi-Fi installs and cellular installs in big buildings. Mostly they are doing in-building cellular installs. Lots of venues where again new cell systems are being installed there to give coverage and capacity to all the viewers. So most recently, we were involved with the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, the Raiders, the Rams, and just about a lot of Major League Soccer stadiums that we're also involved in. And there's another use case on rooftops and cell towers called PIM mitigation, public safety, small cell poles, where every lamppost now has 5G capability that we're adding to the lampposts with antennas and radios. So we are involved there as well on cell towers, right? So all of that is being managed and controlled through our app. So what is that we do, right? So we have a cloud piece, which is the central hub of everything. So we take design information and test information that they need to test and whatnot, and we have a mobile app that pulls all this information into the mobile app. You take that to the field to your cell tower, and the mobile app then controls these instruments and tells the technician what to do in terms of RF testing, fiber testing. And while they're there, we want to have them take pictures. They use their phone to take pictures. Now we've integrated the 360-degree camera, so that can also take the pictures, and everything will get uploaded to the cloud. And finally, they generate what is called as a closeout package, which is the deliverable that they have to supply to all the carriers and whoever has commissioned them to do the job so that they can get paid. So there's the visibility of the job that they did. So the pictures play a very, very important role in cell tower applications. And we, in the last 2 years, we probably collected just for specific closeout pictures, over 100,000 pictures that has to go with the cell towers themselves. So most of our focus has been test automation. While doing test automation, we also collect all these pictures now through our mobile app. Okay. In terms of projects that we've done, just last year, everybody was affected by COVID, unfortunately, but the telecom industry as providing critical infrastructure, a lot of activity happened. We were involved on 1,000 sites on the small cells and macros, and over 60 buildings and stadiums that we were involved in. Those are all pretty large projects in general where we were involved in, and where we did a lot of testing, I would say. That's mostly our focus. But while doing that, we also collected a lot of pictures as well. Okay. So where are the 360 pictures useful? Right on cell towers during construction. And one thing I've also we talked to Jesse and Craig about is that on these cell towers, if you see, different levels are owned, are rented, right? So the tower itself, for example, the land is owned by the landlord, and usually the likes of Crown Castle, American Tower, they lease that land and they erect a pole, and then operators like Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, they rent different RAD centers, they call them, radiation centers, and they co-locate on these cell towers. So, and these guys are climbing towers. You can see these stubs here. People are climbing towers, standing on the platforms. and installing these antennas, connecting them up, and then testing. So while they're there, people use drone technology to take pictures around. But what do you do for inside? You have to take multiple pictures and stitch them together. Instead, using a 360 camera will be very useful. So you also see rooftops again, which is where one of our demos is going to be, and even in building. As you walk around, before you have to deploy these systems, you need to know where to install these antennas, what might be the right location. So for all of that, the 360 pictures become very useful, right? So any troubleshooting, maintenance, if you want to look at what did the environment look like before and after, the 360 pictures become very useful. And in venues, as you can imagine, large venues, these pictures, they literally speak 1,000 words if you can, using the 360 pictures around, right? Or I should say 360,000 words in some sense, right? So this is just a gallery of some of the pictures that we've taken. You can see, so for example, this is an airport, right? So you can see that, okay, before we install antennas, right? And so there's probably some antennas I could show you here. Before we install these antennas, where what is the right place to install? Otherwise, if you're just looking at them on a 2D floor plan, you don't have a sense of height and stuff like that, right? So this becomes very useful. So here's another one, for example, right? Again, at the airport. So if you see here, there's an antenna here that's placed, right? So you do know that there's there's also here's another antenna as well. So you can for the trained eye, you'll be able to tell whether they're cellular or Wi-Fi antennas and what they might be doing, so that you can figure out where do you want to place the next antenna, right? And then you can also see, let's say this cell tower itself, right? So here is a cell tower where we've taken a 360 picture. So you can see this here, all the cables. And if I see here, this is where this gentleman was taking the picture. You can see the full view, 360-degree view from that vantage point. For people like me who will never climb a cell tower, if I put this on my VR glass and look at this, then it's as if I am on the tower itself, right? And that's pretty nice to see that, right? And again, inspection-wise, or whether we're looking at, so here's another one, right? So you can see whether they put all the bolts on properly, whether there's rust on those bolts, right? And so you can see this is the other, he's on one platform, right? Standing and taking these pictures. And then you can see that there's another carrier up on the top here, right? So you can see that on the same cell tower, how they're all co-located, right? So these are just some of the pictures that we've taken. Here is a picture of the rooftop that you can see.
Hey, Subbu, this is Jesse. In those pictures you're showing there, they're incredible. You mentioned rusty bolts. Are there, what other things are you looking for to a trained eye? What are they looking for?
Right. Essentially, if there's, for example, I can see that whether these antennas are mounted correctly or not, right? Sometimes there's a skew, or whether, ideally, if I can capture the azimuth along with this, that would be the best. But yeah, I can see whether these antennas are mounted correctly. Overall, the overall installation looks correct, right? And the distance between, are there any debris and stuff like that, right? Because otherwise, people take pictures without the debris, right? Whereas here, you cannot escape that, right? Because the tower, all this has to be cleaned up before they leave the cell site.
I see. Right? Interesting.
Yeah. So those are, and then here is an in-building picture, for example. You can see that this is an office building. You can see that they're putting cell tower. So that's a smoke alarm, I think. But that's actually an antenna for cellular installation. Right, so that's a very thin profile antenna that they're installing, and I think we were testing. So here is another antenna, right? So you can see that. So those are things that it gives you a good view. For example, if I'm before construction, if I walk and walk the site with a 360 camera, then I know that I cannot put an antenna here right next to the lamp or the smoke detector. So it has to be somewhere in the middle, what might be the right place to put it. And if I see this picture, now I'll be able to tell, okay, this needs construction work, sheetrock work after that, right? Is not just a ceiling tile. So all of that becomes super useful for cellular applications. Okay. So with that, I'll also show you how our app gets driven before I go there. Yeah, I'll come back to this. So I have my tablet here that I'm screen sharing. Typically we do all this fiber tests and what they call sweep tests with the test instruments. So I won't go into that. That's sort of what our bread and butter of what we do. So for example, when we go to site photos and we've loaded the floor plan, right? So if I go to the floor plan, so you'll see that this office's floor plan. So I can click on this grid, and then I can click on the 360, and then connect to the 360 camera, and then take the picture, right? So we'll show that on the live demo, and then you'll see that how that gets translated and mapped to this on the 360 picture. Okay. So that is, and then again on this rooftop also we'll show that as well. So actually, Padu, can you turn your camera on? Right. So there, yeah. Padu?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just doing that.
I'm going to turn my camera off.
Okay.
Video. Yeah.
I am on, right?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. So we are in a rooftop. You can see here. We are on a rooftop, and there you have Jay, and then it has all the three sectors here, and we are going to take a couple of pictures to show how easy it is to take a picture, and then send it to our portal. That after some time, Subbu will probably show that in the portal once it is there, right? So, Jay, ready? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So he took the picture in the app.
So
the app,
right.
Yeah.
So what he does is that if I can see my screen here, they click on this alpha sector, for example, and you click on the 360, and then they connect to the 360 and then take the picture, and all the pictures relevant to the alpha sector. You can take multiple 360 pictures, and that's what he's doing. He's going to take that picture and then sync, which will then, so what you do is that you go back here, after you've taken the pictures, you press the sync button, everything will go to the cloud, and I'm connected to the data, right? So if everything will go to the cloud, and then we'll be able to see this on the cloud as well. Right? So, okay, so go ahead. Sorry, Padu.
Yeah. So we took a couple of pictures. We have synced it. We're just trying to show it on the app too, meaning this is our app, and this is how the picture itself is going to show up. So you can see right here, after you take, you can see all the pictures, good or bad, and then if you want, you can retake it. And once you are done, as Subbu said, you just have to enter the OK, and then you are done with that. And then once you sync, the app it is all available right there. If he presses the sync, it all goes to the portal right now. Yeah, so it's very simple to use, and it's just so it just takes a minute to do the whole thing, and it gives you complete clarity and of the whole site.
Yeah. So let me show you what it looks like on the cloud. Right. So he's synced. You guys have synced, right, Padu?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yes, we are synced.
Right. So this is our portal, right? We will sales demo portal. So I log in and I go to the sites. Right, and then right, so you can see there's testing status as well, and then there's photos. So let me click on the on this. There's some dashboards on what kind of testing is being done. But let me go to what they call closeout photos, which essentially drives the payment milestones. And I'm going to go to the rooftop 360 photos. Right, and so they just took this. This is 317, right? Yeah, 317. And if I go to this photo view, and here's the picture that they just took. And if I click on this, right? So you can see that picture that they just took now, right? Is pretty clear. This is on a rooftop, and yeah, so you can see this. I think we can. And this is that's Padu here, who's on Zoom, and here is Jay, who was taking the picture um, with the 360 camera, right? So now I can see all this. It's a pretty clean rooftop, right? So this you can tell you around all around what kind of equipment is there, right? So it's just this one picture will tell you a lot of information about that rooftop, right? And this is the other view, I think. So you can see this also, right? So that's the second one, and then these are ones from before. So you can see the ones on this other rooftop as well, right? And if I go to this pictures from the tower, we should be able to see some tower pictures as well. Right, so these are all on the cell tower. Right, so you can see this picture. Right, you can see the how much cable is being run there, right? So you can see these pictures. There's actually we got some really good pictures on the cell towers themselves for us to be able to see, right? And that gives you a good view of this. Right, so you can see whether so from a safety wise, right, he's harnessed, as you can see on the cell tower. But here is another one, right, is not supposed to be smoking on a tower, but he is. So yeah, so you can get all these different views of the cell tower itself, right? So that is that, right? So I think Padu and Jay, thanks for running up to the roof to get that done. So I just want to conclude. We're a few minutes over. So that in terms of using ECSite, you can people struggle with taking 360 pictures with they use let's say Theta app, which is a fantastic app, but then they have to download and then upload it to some place and then figuring out rendering. All of that becomes complicated. But here, whether you take with our app, whether you take a 360 picture or whether you take a regular picture, won't matter. Everything will get pushed to the cloud and rendered automatically, right? So it's a single app that will manage all of this. We supports both Android and iOS. We integrate this with flow plans, RF data, location data. So all of that is also captured along with this. Also, if you take a picture with the Theta, for example, the Theta app, then the labeling becomes complicated. What pictures did I take when, right? And so those all become complicated. Whereas with our app, since it's integrated and it knows the context, it will label the pictures accordingly, saying that it is, for example, if you take a picture on alpha sector, then it's going to render that as pictures in the alpha sector, right? So if you see here, rooftop, so it'll label the pictures correctly according to this, right? And the rendering is all cloud-based, so you'll be able to see it instantly, just like how we did, right? It doesn't matter where he is, and we've had people in even across the country look at it instantaneously. There's some limited editing and markup capabilities as well available now. And in terms of closeout deliverables, they ask for a fully zipped, labeled, geotagged version of these pictures, and we're able to generate that automatically instantaneously. And we can all push all this data to Dropbox or SharePoint or OneDrive or other ERP systems and databases as well. So it'll be an end-to-end seamless workflow to integrate with your other. And it's all our cloud app is fully REST API based. So through APIs, you can integrate it into other platforms as well. Okay. So with that, I wanted to conclude my presentation today. And Jesse, Rebecca, and Craig, thanks for the opportunity for us to present this.
Yeah, Subbu, this is fantastic. It's an incredible overview, and thanks to your team for going up on the roof and doing a live demo. If anyone wants to ask questions, Subbu, if you have time, we'd love to.
I do, yeah. Please.
Okay, great. You can use the chat, or feel free to even speak up. But Subbu, one question from our side was, is the resolution good enough to see? So you caught the technician smoking. That's certainly good enough. And it does seem like you can see cables, bolts, the direction of the antenna, lots of good details. Is it good enough?
We can always use better, right? But it's a trade-off between, you know, you don't want a 15 megabyte file for every picture, right? And yeah, so it can always we can always use better resolution than what we get. Particularly under low light conditions, it becomes very tricky, right? So they have to use proper lighting conditions as well.
Yeah.
So we definitely like better resolution than we have. Like at a similar or lower cost, also, Jesse, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
How about so you're doing inspections, you can see it one time. Do you take pictures over time? Can you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Is that
so
a regular?
That tower, right? They climb probably those towers once every 6 months. There's always upgrades happening. Recently, if you follow the wireless world, there's something called a C-band auction that the carriers spent $81 billion in getting that spectrum. Now, you know, having spent that money, they have to deploy those technologies on those cell towers. So they would have to go and climb those towers and reinstall. So every 6 months or so, you know, something like that will happen.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. And then Craig had a question.
Actually, that's what I was going from. Is the
Oh, yeah. So we don't have an overlay of let's say before and after comparisons, but that's something, you know, we could potentially work on. Yeah, but we could also do a slider as well, as Craig was saying. Yeah, and Shri, the camera is a Ricoh Theta 360. It's made by Ricoh Imaging and is a Theta 360. There's a few out in the market, but we definitely like the Ricoh the best, with the ease of integration and, you know, the price to value. Okay.
All right. I think that's it. Subbu, thanks to you and your team. Really appreciate it. And thanks to everyone. Yep. Thanks to everyone on the call for joining.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Subbu.
Bye. Bye, Rebecca.
Great information.
Thank you.